Alireza Firouzja, the second highest rapid play player in the world right now after Magnus, is destroying everyone. I'm going to bring you 3 crushing games against super duper grandmasters, and we're starting here. He's got white against Fabiano Caruana, third highest rated player of all time, playing a hyper accelerated dragon. This is the Tech Mahindra Global Chess League over the board chess here, and it's a fun variation, an aggressive variation. We're going in quick and dirty on these games today, just going to pause at the most crucial moments, like when there's a queen attacked. And white's got a great position here. No one wants to be attacked. No one wants to see all of the kingside pawns just rumbling down. It's what we get here. But first, Alireza tries to dominate d5. If you push e6, well, the pawn is weak, so the bishop bounces round. But here we go. g4, it's Gary the debt collector banging down the door. And you just sense this isn't Fabi's wheelhouse. He's not a lifelong dragon player. I was about to say Najdorf. What should you do? Take or even just smash through, right? Especially in rapid play chess. If queen takes, well, then you can start taking here, and you're also on the line of the bishop. If pawn takes, you ruined the structure, you get play. So let's run back. Fabi does this. Big mistake, because Alireza can now take here, ripping open the file, but before he can do so too fast, the pawn pushes on. Does he move the knight? No, he doesn't. This is the brilliancy. This is the genius of Alireza. He gives an entire horsey. That's supposed to be worth more than a pawn, but he takes with check. He's going for the throat, and here comes the queen into that danger zone. e5's on the board. Desperate to kick away attacking pieces, give the king some room, open up the queen on the lateral defense, but rook hg1 takes on f4. Alireza is just pile driving into the position. The king desperately runs up the board. This isn't the most precise. Queen g5 is better apparently, but let's stick with the game. Fabi doesn't find the best defense, which is not obvious, to cover this f5 square. He plays this, and now it allows the icing on the cake. Check. King getting run around, rook invading, queen desperately covering things, but the second cannon blasting down the board. You're about to get checked, lose your queen. You just can't fight against it. You know, if you run with the king, well, you start dropping material, the attack rages on. So takes was played, desperation chess, check. There goes the queen with check, and now all Alireza needs is queen and rook to force resignation on move 32. Because if you go here, mated. If you go here, mated. That is brutal, brutal against Fabi. Let's jump to the next, because Vachier-Lagrave was in the crosshairs. He's a 5-time world champion, classical chess, and Alireza plays what we might have to start calling the Levon variation. Maybe others have played it, but Levon Aronian did this recently. You just give back the move, you stop bishop b4, you get a game. Now what's fascinating about this one is Alireza is very happy to give a key central pawn just to keep his bishop pair and just to make the game interesting. If you take, black just stands better. No issues to talk of, lovely bishops. But Alireza drops off. He allows the pushing of the bishop all the way back and the dropping of the central pawn, because he's saying, hey, yes, you've won it, but I've got the bishops, I've got a bit of a lead in development. I'm rotating my knight around. Now, don't get me wrong. You got to know what you're doing here, or you're just going to wind up a clean pawn down. And for what? Well, it's all about this f5 square and the light squares in general. We see d5 to kick the knight. You didn't have to play like this, not that it's a bad move, but it does encourage the knight around. Bishop e6 looking quite natural to defend, but Vichy pushes on. It's also a good move, but it encourages the queen into the position, and then the knight, you have to deal with that threat. So bishop e6, and there we have it. Alireza picks up his knife and fork. This is unpleasant here. No one wants this guy looming over the ramparts. We see bishop takes. You could carry on munching, but then you take on g7. It's getting very drafty. Check. Yeah, this kind of thing. f4's on the way. It's not easy. d3 possible. Whoops. But this was played. Getting rid of that nasty horsey. Queen f6. Let's get those ones off the board. Diminish the attack. But it rages on. Even though the queenside pawns are collapsing for white, they're also collapsing for black. And would you look at that? Alireza's restored material. He's still fighting for the black king's life. Now we see it developed like this, or protected rather, and it creates this really interesting variation. Now appears on the board. Can you guess what Alireza played? Queen takes on e7. He's given the queen for 2 rooks, and you can't give it back like this, or you lose a pawn at the end of the line, and this is too dangerous. It's a winning endgame. So we see queen b3. You attack the rook at the same time as attack the bishop over here. So that's why this rook moves, to defend that bishop, exit the attack, attack the queen here. She moves out the way and wins a pawn. Now the second rook enters the attack. It's ominous for the black king with the bishops lasering across the board. This knight rotates around, looking to do some defense. Excuse me. And now we see another brilliant move. Rook b7, attacking the weakness of f7, allowing this, giving up the bishops, but first throwing in the check and realizing that there's a raging attack now coming on the light squares, which black can't defend. Now there is an outside passer, but the rooks are just too strong. Controlling it, discovered check, king h1 played, no time to take, or you're going to get mated or give your queen. So this was played. Now h3 to give some Lufthansa. a4 on the board, rook d7, bishop's got to move, check, king goes, and the bishop bouncing round. So many threats to deal with. The queen covers, the time's ticking lower. This is where Alireza thrives. Low time, complicated position, rook a7's played. Beautiful attack on both the rank and the file. Now we see h5 going to rip open the king, but the rook doubles. What are you doing from here? Going for the perpetual, but it ain't happening. Unless you go g3. Not ideal. Give the bishop. So then we see this. It blocks the perpetual like that. Queen moves out the way. Alireza chops a pawn. Fishy's had enough. Game is over. Because what to do? Things are attacked, but everything's also defended and fine. These rooks are soon going to renew their threat. And once you can get the king safe, g3 maybe, king g2, you know, everything collapses. So that was another great win. Jump to the final. It was against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, the incredible Frenchman, and Alireza plays the Sicilian against him. Now these guys know each other well, because Alireza, he's Iranian born, but moved to France, took up nationality there. They've become very familiar therefore, of course. They know each other's chess, know each other's style, and it's interesting that Alireza goes Najdorf, because this is a favourite of Maxime. He knows it inside out. We're in for a battle. Hedgehog kind of pawn structure. Very spiky, those pawns. Be careful if you touch them. And look at the white attack. 3 pawns barreling down the board. d5 strongest apparently. e5, knight d7. Different game. This one's played. Sidelining it. g5. Uber aggressive. Looks amazing. Now the knight dropping back. All 4 minor pieces on the board. Always very, very complicated battle when you get stuff like that. And now you could bring the queen over. Love this plan. Push the h-pawn even. Just go for the kill. But MVL just plays a bit slower. Don't love this move. Okay, he's hitting a pawn. It pushes on. Knight in. Queen not sacked. Now we see the knight rotate around. And somehow you just feel that MVL starts playing into Alireza's hands here. Playing on the queen side of the board, where all of Alireza's pieces are. Somehow never gets his attack going. No clue what this donkey's doing. Surely it needed to be back here. It's on a terrible circuit. It's all over the place now, as you're going to see. Pair of rooks leave the board. It bounces straight back. Didn't like the fianchettoed square. h4, we love it. But after knight c6, it's actually not that easy to attack. Because if you go h6, g6, If you try this and rip open the light squares, well, who's really going to be attacking whom? White king is also drafty. So this was played. Queen c7, knight e2. This one backing up. It really doesn't know what to do with itself. And now we get the break of c3. But it's risky. Ripping open the board over there. Time is ticking. That's when Alireza shines into those scrambles. His knights are hopping. Doesn't blunder the queen. And we soon get a tactical mess. Knight f1, not the best. Alireza is fully invading now. Here come his pieces storming into the attack. MVL's desperately trying to arrange the defense of the king. And this is the problem, right? With great space comes great responsibility. You have to make good of it, or you leave such a vacuum behind. The bishop's bouncing into the game. It's beautiful chess. Control. The knight checks. Also covers e6 twice, thrice. Now we see takes. This queen soon bounces around. Franken queen re-entering the game, but it's just not enough to take down the beast boss that is Alireza. He's tricked him. He's won a pawn. MVL desperate now, opening lines for his pieces. But watch this. One last throw of the dice. Knight takes. Tricky stuff. Takes, and then you go for this and this. Beautiful. Now you're getting toasted. Actually, are you? No, you're not. You just run away. Black's still fine. But it's a nice little tactical shot. But Alireza doesn't even allow that nonsense. He plays bishop c6 and the knight is pinned. This is the game. Takes. And it's a bit different now because when you go e6 and you look for this stuff, that is a mate threat. The pawn's taking the square. Well, the queen can take this time, not the bishop. Sure, you can check. But then what? King runs. You haven't even got takes here with check because the knight's covering. And black is a knight and 2 pawns ahead with an exposed king to also go and attack. That's the end of the game. He's blitzing everyone. It's beautiful chess. I'm off to play myself tonight in the chess league that I play in locally. So it's a quick and dirty Thursday night video. Thanks very much for watching, and have a look at the videos on screen in case you missed these games that Alireza played in this tournament against Hikaru and Gukesh. Thanks a lot and see you soon. Cheers.